Chris, to go back to you and ask you how you go about embedding your ethos within the organization. We've all would have read and heard about the plane that Dyson has, the reminders of all the incredible innovation that have happened throughout the years. So would you mind talking a little bit about that for us, please?
Yeah, sure. So when we were a smaller business, the way that our ethos spread was by direct contact with James. You know, everybody at some point came into contact with James, and it was very easy for James's traits to spread in that way. But as we got bigger and became a much more global company, it became much more challenging for us to rely on our ethos spreading organically. We realised we had to do things a bit more deliberately, and plus, you know, we were looking at the number of people that had started in the last 2 years, and we realised that over half of our business were relatively new and had only just sort of started. So that meant that really we had to think about how we might make more effort to deliberately spread that ethos. And one of the things that we do is we look at design icons from the past. So James liked Alec Isagonis, and his way of turning the engine around to fit it into the car to make the car smaller, which was sort of a bit of wrong thinking, if you like, or different thinking, that became some landmark engineering. So we bought a classic Mini to display around the campus, but because James believes that good design is about what's on the inside, it's about how something works, not how it looks. We cut the Mini in half to show all of the insides, which felt like a bit of a sacrilegious thing to do, because this was a pristine, perfect classic Mini. But actually we wanted to celebrate the sort of the inner workings of it, because that was what was important to us. And in our cafe, I think that might be the next slide. James believes that sort of aviation engineering is really the pinnacle of top engineering. It's where you have to make everything as fast as possible, and really does sort of demonstrate the most advanced thinking. So we took one of the first planes to break the sound barrier, which was the Lightning Jet, and wanted to display that around the campus as an icon for what's possible, and a sort of landmark first, if you like. But rather than just put it in the car park, we thought we'd hang it from the ceiling of our cafe, or one of our cafes, which in itself was a really difficult thing to do. It was almost quite impossible. We had to build the frame of the cafe, and then install the plane, and then build the rest of the cafe around it. So it was kind of crazy, slightly almost not worth the effort, you might say. And I think from our point of view, when we have an idea to do something that is a little bit unusual and something that nobody else would do, we sort of think that's quite a good thing, actually, and it almost motivates us to do it even more. So the plane hanging up in the cafe is not only an icon for engineering, it's almost an icon for challenge and rising to challenge, and showing that actually, if you put your mind to it, anything is possible.
As I imagine sawing that Mini in half was as well.
Yeah. I'm not sure that the previous owner ever found out. I think she was quite sad to see the Mini go, so I think it might have finished her off if she found out what we did.